I'm Manoj Prabhakar. I'm from Independent Project Analysis, IPA, and work as the Director of Asia Office.
Okay. In your presentation, you spoke very much about decommissioning opportunities. Could you elaborate more for the audience here?
Decommissioning is an emerging opportunity in Asia-Pac region because we are still lagging behind compared to Gulf of Mexico or North Sea. So there are a number of fields actually supposed to be decommissioned much earlier, but it has been delayed. Probably around close to more than 300 fields need to be decommissioned in the next coming decade. So it's some of the analysts estimated that it's about $100 billion opportunity. So almost every country, oil and gas producing country in our region has assets aged over 30, 40 years, and it needs to go in this decade. And that's a pretty big opportunity for the industry.
What is driving the decommissioning aspect in the region, and what is holding it back?
As I mentioned, it is assets are getting aged, and they still need to maintain at certain level. So we are spending money on that old non-producing assets. That's one issue. Second thing is energy transition is another issue. Many of the wells are leaking. Nobody is measuring that how much emission is happening through those leftover wells, which are supposed to be decommissioned years ago. So this drives the public opinion on these old assets need to be go. It needs to be plugged well appropriately, abandoned appropriately. And regulators and government are concerned about it because at times the operators may not be not as concerned as the regulators. At times, that is an issue. What's delaying this one? It's about cost. It's all about cost, and decommissioning is not a revenue generating activity. So, and many old assets are not planned for decommissioning because it means that there is not money left over. And many a times when a field is about to end its life, it ended up with a small independent operator as well. And he doesn't have the capabilities or financial strength to do that one. And it's, again, going back to the regulator or the national government to do the decommissioning, and it's taxpayers' liability in the end.
And how does this translate into demand for offshore support vessels?
I foresee that if decommissioning picks up, there will be demand for, definitely there will be demand for offshore support vessels because we need lift vessels, supporting vessel, barges, rigs. So there is a lot more support vessels required in this activity apart from our normal oil and gas production work. So this is in addition to the existing work. So that will add pressure on the industry in terms of vessel availability. And I also like to add that offshore wind is a big player. It is catching up. Many countries are moving into that direction. In our region, Southeast Asia, Vietnam is an active player. Philippines is trying to enter into that country. Malaysia wants to go into that direction. So Australia is already planning some of the stuff. So this will require additional support from these offshore vessels. So we might see a shortage of vessels in the near future.